You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back day. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Google signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy J. Ludis, and I'm excited to bring you today's special guest. I hope that you've seen him before because in the past, we put together some incredible messages on some very deep topics that can truly help you with wherever you find yourself today in life. Struggling, succeeding, trying to figure things out. Look through our past videos, guys, to find keys on your own progress. But our guest is the founder of Bloodflow Coaching, where he is helping individuals and companies in a handful of incredible ways. And on top of that, he's brought together some incredible minds to speak in just a few weeks. I'm going to say broad on that because I want him to explain in full detail. But guys, I give you Chris Kraft. Chris, I thank you so much for being here. It's always a blast.
Billy, it's one of my favorite podcasts I do, man. You and I think so much alike. We think so much in tandem together. That's why we're going to be doing business stuff together. That's why we're going to be speaking together for years. I'm looking forward to what we're going to talk about today. For
sure. No, I agree. Everything right there. But tell people, where have you been recently? Because it's been a couple months since we had you on last time.
It's been busy, but it's been some of the best months of my life, man. So I'm going to try to keep this short because we got a lot of really solid stuff to cover today. So Bloodflow Coaching was born a little over a year ago with the idea of helping people stop things in their life from dying in the physical body. If your fingers start to tingle or something, it's not getting the appropriate blood flow. Well, in our lives, the reason marriages fail, the reason kids go crazy when they get older is many times because there's not the right information or tools flowing to other parts of our lives. So Bloodflow Coaching was started through coaching and consulting to help people get the right blood flow to the specific areas of life that they need it. And just recently, I'm going to throw this out, and this is a little bit of a teaser because we're in beta, let's call it beta testing just for the fun of it, of starting a speakers cohort. We're going to call this Filling in the Gaps speakers cohort. And we're going to be bringing together a platform and a community of people that want to be speakers. I've got a leadership team of some of the greatest coaches and speakers in the industry today. Billy G is one of them. And we're excited because we're beginning this platform to give speakers an opportunity. We're going to link speakers with the right opportunities to speak and link them together with each other because many speakers don't know who to talk to. They don't know where to go and they don't know who to call for a coach. So we're going to give a platform for all of that. And so be prepared. It's coming out in January. If you're interested, contact me or contact Billy because we'd love to get you into the beta testing before we get started. But the one thing I want to plug, if you'll let me, Billy, is December the 2nd. We've got a virtual workshop that we're planning, a professional development virtual workshop. Myself and 7 other speakers are going to be feeding you some of the top information for you to advance your career, for you to get some of the skills, increase your skill set to be able to advance your career, get raises at work, get that promotion you've been chasing. And we're going to keep the price point low. A lot of these workshops can be $150, $200 a piece. We're going to do this for a full price, $79 ticket. It's a virtual workshop. Plug in from anywhere across North America. We've already got people from across America, from Canada already have their tickets. Plug into either Billy G or myself to one of our social media accounts, and you can click on that Eventbrite and secure your seat. Seating is limited. So pick up your seat soon. It's going to be a great day, Billy. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I love that. Talk about major announcements. To echo all of that, Bloodflow Coaching, guys, is absolutely incredible. Chris is helping people in so many incredible ways. As he said, as your body needs it, blood flow. Keep the flow going to these different concepts of your life, whether it is business, whether it's marriage, whether it's life. Chris has the knowledge and expertise to bring it all to the table. And then the speaking platform, that's probably going to be one of the biggest things to launch, not just for Chris and myself, one of the literal biggest things to launch in the coming year, because it's going to help speakers, or if you're someone who just has a story and it's trying to come out of you, and you know there's an audience that can capture it, can learn from it, can grow with it, and can move forward with it, this is the platform for you. And Chris and I, we've met with the other leaders of this program to how we can really help people. That's the basis of it, to network and meet others, but to help you in your own pursuit, whether it's professional, whether it's business, or just to help people in general. That's how I started. That's how Chris started, to help people. So, Chris, I echo all that. I think it's incredible. And then your December event, guys, I'm going to join this because I want to learn from these great speakers Chris has. And I'm telling you, it's going to help you. So look into that. We'll put the link to that in the description of this video. But Chris, let's dive into it right now because I know there's so many different topics that you bring to people, companies, workshops, everything. And one today is just so fascinating to me because I'm going to be learning about it as you're speaking it, but it's so intriguing. And that is the concept of sensus plenior. So describe that to us as we step into it.
I'll definitely do it. And I'll tell you, one of the most difficult parts of talking about is pronouncing the word. It's a Latin phrase, sensus plenior. And I want to put a T in it sometimes too. It's Plenior. And I've got a slideshow in some of this. I was going to try sharing my screen, but honestly, for the viewers, sometimes I can get boring when somebody's showing pictures and all this. I'm like, you know what? I'll just wave my hands. I'll wave my hands a bunch. So sensus plenior is actually one of my most requested speaking engagements for professional organizations. But real quick, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I first heard about it from a gentleman named Oliver DeMille and his Thomas Jefferson education. And he really helps people understand some of the classic truths and principles that we really need to bring back to our society today. And one thing I heard him talk about was this idea. And when I started looking it up, few books are written on it. Few teachings have been taught on it. And sensus plenior, it means multiple meanings or deeper meaning. And that is in contrast to the idea of sensus solum, another Latin term that means the right answer or the one meaning. So I really want to dive into some of this. And yeah, Billy, you can feel free to kind of learn yourself. But here's the cool thing. Billy's already applying this in his life and he doesn't even know it. So I'm excited for him to kind of be able to clarify, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is going to be neat. So let's kind of start here. We are taught in traditional education, and it's also, by the way, this next statement I'm about to say, this is the reason we chose the name Filling in the Gaps, because traditional education, while wonderful for some of us, I don't believe it actually readily prepares us for life. And if you go back and listen to some of our previous talks, we've talked about that. It leaves gaps. Well, we want to fill in the gaps with our business, but at the same time, the idea of sensus solum is what is taught in traditional education. It's taught to find the right answer, the one answer. Now, there are times where I need the one answer. 2 + 2, I don't care about your opinion. Right? We don't need to look for multiple deeper meanings on 2 + 2 = 4. Sensus solum education, or finding the right answer, is appropriate in that study. But when I watch Hamlet, when I'm at a concert, listening to orchestra music or heavy metal, I like them both. When you're reading a piece of literature, when you're listening to a sermon, when you're reading the Bible, there are points in life where you need to look for the deeper meaning, not just for the right answer. Let me give you an example. Maybe reading a book. Sensus solum, how do you read a book, sensus solum? I'm only listening for the author's words. I'm just going to throw this out. I just reach back and grab a book, The 4-8 Principle by Tommy Newberry. Great book. Let me just open it up and read something he says. Here's one. This is good, actually, for you too, Billy. The secret conversations you hold in the privacy of your own mind are shaping your destiny little by little. So let's just think about that. Sensus solum, what does that mean, sensus solum? I'm just going to look for the right answer. If I'm thinking sensus solum, what are the words he said? There's only one meaning of what he said in sensus solum thinking. The secret conversations you hold in the privacy of your own mind are shaping your destiny little by little. It's very easy. And Billy, if you got something, feel free to interrupt.
Yeah.
But if I'm reading that sensus solum, I'm only reading the words he says. And maybe I get one thought. And the difference is sensus solum, when I get the one thought, the right answer, I stop looking. This is key. Sensus plenior says, oh goodness, the secret conversations. I wonder what the secret conversations are. What secret conversations do I have in my own mind? Who do I have them about? Do I even recognize that I'm having them, right? Now I'm looking into the deeper meaning. I'm not trying to misinterpret. I'm looking into everything he's talking about. Does that make sense, Billy?
Oh yeah, I love that. And it's funny for you to say I'm already doing this in my life because the further I grew as a coach and as a speaker, you realize it's never one-sided of an answer. It's always sensus plenior because everything has such a deeper meaning to it. And I sit there and you mentioned so many key points. One of which is we don't even realize 2 + 2. We know it's 4. And that's been proven time and time again. It's from as young as kindergarten, to where we are now. So if that's been proven time and time again, but then you really look at life, you really look at business, you really look at family, you look at marriage, look at everything under the sun. It's never one side. Everything is so much deeper. And if you look at that through a spiritual sense, everything's spiritual in my perspective. Everything's connected. Everything is intertwined together. Prior to us recording, Chris, you even mentioned Romans 8:28 and the deeper meanings behind that, which if people look it up, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. There's the plenior aspect, which is the deeper meanings behind that. Or you mentioned, what comes to mind to me is everything you're saying is the parables, because parables were spoken biblically and scripture based to help us connect to our own experience and perspective of life. And if we start to realize that every single human being, every single person, heck, every single animal too, because of their lens, they look at the world has a different perspective and experience that they're going through. So 2 + 2 could equal 4 to one person, one person, one person, one person. But the meaning behind that could be so different because of the lens they look at the world through. So Sensus Plenior, like, I agree with you. I'm doing that in my own life, but I guarantee every single person listening and viewing right now is doing the same thing, going through in their own life.
They should. And really this, and when I give this presentation to professional organizations, my real goal is teaching them you should apply sensus solum thinking in certain areas of your life.
Yep.
But what we've done, and this is where I kind of twisted a little bit to help people understand the application side of it, because the concept isn't hard to understand. There's more meanings than just one in literature, in biblical text and things like that. What we've done is we've accidentally allowed situations in our life to be interpreted from us from a sensus solum mindset without being intentional about thinking in a sensus plenior way. Is it okay if I give you a few examples?
Oh, dive in for sure.
So when I'm speaking to project managers, is one of my favorite groups of people that love hearing this talk. I tell them data interpretation. Let's look at data interpretation. If I have pieces of, and sometimes it's for the melancholy personalities who love data. Some people think I don't like any data. We're all interpreting data every day. When you pull up to a red light, you see red, yellow, green. You're interpreting what actions to do based on the data you're interpreting. So we're all doing it every day. But when you're interpreting data, when I hear a response from my wife on the phone, I respond, she responds back to me. I promise, because I've been married 18 years, there are multiple interpretations to what my wife is saying. But if I think about it from a sensus plenior way, it's completely different than when I think about it sensus solum. What does sensus solum say? Well, honey, you said this, but I meant this. Well, you should have said, and all of a sudden we get in a fight. But if I just would have started with a sensus plenior attitude, not trying to judge her motives, nobody can get inside the head of a woman or a man. We are all unique creations of God, right? But when it comes down to it, it's my responsibility to look past just the words. Let me just ask our listeners, have you ever had a jerk of a boss? And most of us would raise our hand. And if you're sitting next to your boss, don't raise your hand. But if you've ever had a jerk of a boss, sometimes they can say things. They don't use their words correctly. They'll be too brash, be too rude. Let me just encourage you with this. That's data. Data coming at you, flying at your face, flying at your emotions. Just try to interpret the data based on what they mean, based on their heart, not based on the words they may misuse.
Yeah.
So in data interpretation, sensus plenior, what about problem solving? When we're working through any problem solving in our whole lives, if you're raising kids, if you're raising teenagers, if you have a job, if you are a business owner, you're going to be solving problems all the time. Traditional education has taught us this. Listen, fear the red X.
Yep.
We get a test, we get a quiz. What's the first thing you look for? All the green marks? Nope. We're scared for those red X's. We're scared to show our parents the red X's. Why? Because we're scared of the wrong answer. Right. When you have a sensus plenior attitude, you're not scared of the red X's because you know there's multiple ways to solve a problem. So if you go into the problem trying to look for all the potential ways, you have less stress. You have more focus. So a sensus plenior attitude, a deeper meaning, a more width of meaning is vitally important. Do you have anything before I go into the last two real quick?
Yeah, no, just to kind of build on that for viewers and listeners right now, I love the approach from a professional standpoint, a business standpoint, because that's life. That's us growing to the level. And to add in real world examples as well as the professional ones, I had a client yesterday. and a college student. And it's exactly everything you just said. The fear of the red X, everything of this. We have trained, heck, my generation, we learned, like, that's when teachers really had to start changing. They were told to change from a red pen because that's when sensitivity really started to increase. And, I think we still need that concept of the red pen because it builds our strength and our ability to face adversity in some regards in a school standpoint. But my client, he's a college student, phenomenal kid's an absolute genius, because he has been trained to need to excel. He has an absolute fear of failure, which some people could say, good, it's going to make him succeed more. But to see the anguish that goes through a student of fear, of, oh my goodness, all the stress they carry on their shoulders because, well, this teacher explains it this way, but I find doing this way is 10 times easier. But to him, now he's in a push-pull effect. He's stuck in the middle, rocking a hard place. Well, my teacher says I have to do it this way, but I can do it this way. It's like nowadays when kids come home and they ask their parents for help on their math homework, and the parent teaches what they learned 20, 30, 40 years ago, and the kid's like, no, I can't do it that way. And that's where 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore because we've changed that concept. But that's like a real world example where this fear concept has literally become the norm. And then I connect even more of what you said in the professional standpoint, but more on the personal standpoint of mental health, where our viewpoints of the world, I've helped so many clients overcome mental hurdles because they go through a pain or a trauma, and that becomes their reference point to how they see the rest of the world. It's always through this lens. I went through this pain. It will always be this way. If I went through a terrible heartbreak or a pain in a relationship, whatever it is, and this person left me, everyone's going to leave me. And now you have a self-fulfilling prophecy that leads you forward because your belief now about yourself is no one will ever love me because this person said they didn't. Well, if you're not going to look at the sensus plenior aspect and there's only one answer, that's everything Chris is saying to us now on a personal standpoint. You have to realize there's more to life than just this one lens. That's why I always tell everyone, take your blinders off. Because if you take your blinders off, you see there's an incredible world, an incredible universe here to help you grow into who you're meant to be. But if you are building every reference point and definition of yourself off of the pain you went through, you will forever go through pain and go through pain because you're not rising above it to see all the options outside. So, Chris, I'll hand it back off to you, but that's where my mind's going on a personal standpoint connected to the professional standpoint.
Dude, that's incredible. And we could talk about this for a while, but I'm going to throw in, we just play too well off each other. Problem, right?
So true.
Because, like when you mentioned blinders, I thought there's two sides of that because there are times in your life where you're going to need to focus. One of the reasons that horses, and you'll see them with these things on their side because it helps them stay straight ahead.
Right.
There are times in your life where you're too distracted. You got too many hats. You're wearing too many things that are not top priorities for you and that you need to focus. But I love what Billy said, because most times in our life, we're wearing these and what he would call, and I'm sure, self-limiting beliefs. We have these self-limiting beliefs that are keeping us focused in a sensus solum way. If you'll take the blinders off so you can see out of your peripheral. Right now, my dog is turning 14 years old in a couple weeks.
That's awesome.
And she's starting to lose sight in her peripheral. So, and this, I haven't even thought of this example until you said this. So thanks. I'm going to use this in my coaching. Right now, I could walk up next to her and she gets scared and she jumps because she didn't see me coming. Hey, listener, how many things in your life are causing unnecessary fear and anxiety because you've got your blinders on?
Right.
Anyways, whole nother teaching. I got a feeling that's going to turn into a clip on social media. Okay, so let me hit these last two.
Yep.
Because a sensus plenior mindset is very necessary in communication. Let me harp on something real quick, right? I hate these. I love these.
Yep.
I hate these, right? For the simple purpose of this, text-based communication is a sensus solum means of communication. Right. What's our stereotypical way to read a text? I receive a text. I read the words. I interpret them sensus solum. And I interpret them based on the worst case scenario. How many times have you ever read a text in all caps and gone, wow, they're happy to see me? No, we're going to automatically assume they're screaming and they're mad and they're angry. We tend to read text in today's culture, and there's several reasons. I'm not going to go there. But we tend to read text-based communications. This could mean text messages, emails, social media, anything that is text-based that we're reading without body language or expression or tone of voice. we are reading in a sensus solum way, and we are interpreting them based on our own preconceptions. I'm interpreting this communication from a sensus solum mindset. It's very similar to, and this is not really communication, but it is in a sense, because I interpret it as communication. I'm going down the road and some quote unquote idiot passes me, speeds up, cuts me off. All of a sudden I'm laying my horn. Some people are flipping birds, and it's just an ugly situation. What happened there? I'm interpreting ill will towards them.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking sensus solum that they should care about me. How dare they pass me? How dare they slow down in front? How dare they cut me off? Sensus solum means of even communication. What does sensus solum look like? Or what does sensus plenior look like in that situation? It looks like this. Maybe they're on the way to the hospital because their wife was just in an accident.
Right.
Well, they're not. How do you know? And in that moment, what they're doing is much less important than where your mind and head is at. And if you allow yourself to become emotionally hijacked because you're thinking sensus solum with blinders on,
right?
But if you take the blinders off and think, no, there could be multiple reasons. Maybe their pregnant wife is there about to have a baby and they need to get to the hospital. Well, they should put that's a selfish mindset. Yeah. Let's just lay it on the table. Having a selfish sensus solum mindset in communication will never produce the results any of us want in relationships. We must think sensus plenior. I'm just assuming, listener, if you're listening to this podcast, you know that Billy is up for health in every part of your life. And one of those areas is relationships. And if you want to have quality relationships, you cannot communicate in a sensus solum way. Does that make sense, Billy?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely does. And it brings a lot of thoughts to my head too, because I agree, and I echo everything you said. And then my mind expands it more. Where in a relational communication sense, 100% agree with everything you said. And then I sit there and think of this Solomon and Plenior aspect. And truthfully, I look at where life for all of us, it's like you kind of have to weave through both of them. Because there are moments in life where you have to have a solemn approach, where you have to, in some regards, be selfish and selfless. Selfish is meaning, we'll look at a business standpoint. If you're an entrepreneur listening right now, there are times where you have to say no to all of your friends and focus on, this is my only focus point right now. I have to do this.
Yep.
Technically speaking, it's a solemn approach, it's a selfish approach, but it's needed to help you elevate for your goals. And then to take that off, you have a plenior approach. You then are open. You're selfless. You're open to the people around you. You're open to communication. So in these different stages of life, you have relationship, you have job, you have friends, you have your house, you have business, marriage, whatever it is. There's a push and pull to these concepts. And I think in relation standpoint, yeah, you need to have a plenior approach just to be able to communicate. And so people like you, at the end of the day. But in different concepts of your life, you probably have to have a little bit more of a solemn approach to be able to get to where you want to get to. That's awesome.
Because the sensus solum mindset is looking for the right answer. Are there parts of our lives that you need to find the right answer? Yes. You have to have the right answer sometimes. When you're looking from a spiritual standpoint, this is Chris talking for a minute, right? I believe there's one answer.
Yep.
Right? I believe what the Bible says about Jesus being the only way to God in heaven. That's where you need the right answer based on your spiritual belief system. You don't need to be swayed and look for 14 different thoughts about what does everybody think about spirituality. You need to find sensus solum.
Yep.
There are certain parts of my belief system I'm not moving. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm very sensus solum about my spiritual life. Jesus, in my opinion, is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to heaven but by him. So therefore, for me, I'm not looking sensus plenior for what everybody thinks about Jesus. I have a sensus solum mindset. So yes, you're good. And that's why I really want, and I don't know if I said this at the first. Let me say this now. This is not right or wrong.
Yeah.
Sensus plenior is not right. Sensus solum is not wrong. What I will encourage is that there are wrong situations.
Yes. Based
on the context. In a communication, I would say sensus solum is almost never right. Because what is the right, because again, going to the meaning of what sensus solum means, the right answer. In communication, is there ever a right answer?
Right.
There's always going to be multiple meanings and interpretations in communication. But again, 2 + 2 will always equal 4, regardless of what current math is teaching. So let me hit the last one, and then we can kind of end. The last thing that you need a sensus plenior attitude in is continual education. Continue in your continual education. Don't be sensus solum to where I did college, I'm never going to read again. No, you need to look for full holistic learning,
Yes.
continuous education in every area. You need to be learning for your people skills. Our 2 tracks that we're going to be talking about, another pump in for this, on December 2nd, our workshop is going to be best practices of the professional on one side and people skills on the other. 2 of the top Sensus Plenior attitudes you need to have and skill sets you need to learn is in those things. So don't get sensus solum. Don't get singular thinking about your continuing education. Learn wide.
Yes.
Learn deep, but don't learn singular.
Yes.
Learn
Oh,
wide.
that's awesome.
So
I have
that Sensus Plenior, Billy, it's a deep concept, but it's something if we'll learn the application in so many areas of our life, we will de-stress and we will increase our options that we have in our lives.
For sure. I love that. And I want to add on the education aspect, because this comes up in sessions a lot with people and clients. And I love what you said, where it's not a college and you're done concept. And that was the definition for all of us prior to societal changes, where you could go to college, you can get a job, and you can be set for the rest of your life. That's why we all went and got our degrees. You got a piece of paper that said you could. And then times changed, and that's not the case anymore, where you can go to college and it's still a rat race to try and find the job that you want. And I explained to my client the other day in this very similar topic, where he is still questioning the major that he has in college. And to him, it's, I need to choose now. I've wasted, not I want to say wasted, but I've wasted time where I've studied this and I don't really like it anymore. And he's struggling. He's depressed now because he doesn't know what he likes. So I brought up to him, like, man, like, what are your interests? What are your hobbies? We got to start there. That's what your career is going to be based off, where you actually wake up and want to do what you want to do at the end of the day. And he goes, Bill, I don't know what that is. I've been so focused on school now, I don't even know what my interests and hobbies are. I'm like, all right. And there's 2 different routes you can go there. One is, why did you get into studying what you wanted to get into? Mm-hmm. That ended up being the correct route, because for him, my client, kid's a genius, physicist, engineering, but what he's learning, he'll tell me straight up, is the most boring things in the world. He wants to learn physics concepts on a universal standpoint, how everything intrigues together, not on a very minute standpoint of why this machinery connects to this and why physics and this energy connects to this energy. So I had to explain to him, if this universal concept is why you wanted to get into physics in the first place, you got to pay your dues. You got to learn the bare essentials to be able to learn the grander sense. But you will only learn the grander sense if you step out of the college mindset and go to a library and pick up the books on that, because your teachers are told to stick to a curriculum that is this piece of paper, and we go over all this for the rest of the year, and that's that. So if that's the case and what you're learning is on a higher level, you will not learn that here. You have to go on your own into self-learning. And that, truthfully, is when emotion comes into play. And this is something I love teaching people in a learning standpoint. You learn and you grasp so much based off of your emotional standpoint in a given moment. You could be going through the most joyous time in your life. You will remember everything down to a T. Your body imprints into your nervous system because you're so happy. Your emotions on a higher level. You could be going through the most traumatic pain in your entire life, losing a loved one, losing business, whatever it means for a listener right now. You will remember that pain beyond anything else, and your body remembers it because your emotions are attached to it. But on a self-learning standpoint, you start to grow and learn and remember all these lessons and concepts on a deeper level because you're now doing it for you. You're now enjoying the process because you picked up the book. A teacher didn't tell you to pick up the book. A teacher didn't tell you the test is on lessons 1, 2, and 3, but you learned lesson 1A on your own. 1A is not going to be featured on this test because you learned it in a different way. Correct. But that's the beauty of self-learning and being able to expand, as Chris said. You got to have a Plenior aspect and approach to that because life is out there for us to experience and grow. And as much as I love school and I love the concept that people are trying to build themselves, school is only, in regards to human history, school is only recent. You know, a classroom is only recent. College is only recent. Believe it or not, if you look at throughout history, past BC, past all this stuff, we are meant to learn through experience. And your greatest experience is picking up the book on your own and growing in your own way. But Chris, that's where my mind went with the Sensus Plenior aspect, because that's the beautiful approach of us and human beings and how we can continue to grow and find what we love and expand on that. Let's pass back.
And one thing to throw in, I love that idea with continuing education. I totally agree. Picking up a book, and that's the value of having a coach. To be able to take what you're learning as an individual. How many times have you read a book and you're like, this is good information, but I'm having trouble applying it? A coach is a tool to help you apply and create a game plan to apply what you're learning. A coach isn't there to teach you the information. You've got to be hungry enough to go read it, go find it. But then a coach can come along and say, now let's create a game plan for you to apply what you're learning. I just wanted to throw that in because both the plug for both of us, right? But at the same time, the reason Billy and I are coaches is because we love helping people create game plans.
True.
Right? I tell people all the time, these are not my college degrees. I have 2 college degrees. I don't know where they're at. These are my certifications in mental health coaching and life coaching.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of them. That's why I hang them on the wall, because I love helping people make game plans. So I love what Billy said. Don't have a sensus solum idea on it has to be college. College is great. Got a couple degrees. But when it really comes down to it, if you want to apply and make real life major changes in your life, self-education teamed up with coaching is the way to go.
Yeah, we'll completely agree. And coaching brings the game plan aspect, but coaching also brings you the action-based approach to that. Because a lot of clients, I'm going to say this, Chris, I'm sure you see it just as much as your clients. A lot of clients, they want the game plan, but they struggle with taking the action on the game plan.
Agreed.
That's where having a coach can step in and guide you the steps of the way and really be there to help you move forward on your game plan. But that's what gets you to your result that much quicker. You know, rather than us trying to figure out, oh, well, Billy gave me this game plan. You know, I'll see him in a couple weeks. Maybe I'll do it. There is no maybe. You know, we made the game plan and we're going to take action on it not because I tell you to, because you want it. If you truly want to better your life, the hunger, as Chris just said, if you truly want to better your life, it's going to take you moving forward in your life to do that. That's where a coach steps in and guides you the steps of the way to do these concepts, to really apply these concepts and topics in your relationship, in your business, in your community, whatever it means for you. But that's you bettering yourself and realizing, take the blinders off. Oh my goodness, there's a whole world around here. That's what living life's all about.
Chris Brady said, I can't make a sharp person hungry, but I can make a hungry person sharp. You bring your hunger and your self-education to a coach and willingness to take action, they'll help you guide the rest of the way.
100%. I love that, Chris. I agree with you tenfold, Chris, when you say that when we get together, a whole different concept comes about, you know? Right? But that, you know, I'm going to throw it in myself. That's what the speaking cohort that we're creating is going to do for people. You know, it's not just us. Chris and I met through just connecting in a networking aspect. And you just, hey, let's hop on a call. I'd love to get to know blah, blah, blah. And just built into this platform of these podcasts, of growing coaching business, of throwing ideas of each other, having a friend in the game as you continue to move your life forward. And then to bring these concepts to the speaker cohort, to bring these concepts to the December 2nd platform that Chris has created. And then, there's a couple coming up. There's a January one. There's I want to say March, May, everything like that. You know, Chris is bringing these to people so they have this mentality and focus. So if you're listening right now or viewing right now, that's you. The goal is for you specifically to realize there's more to my life here. Let me go learn from the people that have done it and learn from the best in the game. Because if I can learn from them, and this is something that was taught to me, as much as I was trained by Tony Robbins, one key thing that was always taught to me in that concept was when we have a goal, and we have a mentor, when we have a leader, when we have a role model, that could be someone that has passed on. That could be, a kid right now listening to this. Maybe you're someone that loves basketball, and Michael Jordan is your favorite player of all time. He doesn't play anymore. He's retired. He's not going to pick. He's not, knowing him, he could come back and play today. But right at the same time, he's retired right now. However, there is so much information on what he did to reach the level that he did. He left a roadmap behind. And if you're someone listening that wants to better yourself, to learn from the best, they left roadmaps and steps behind that you can then follow to get their results, and even better because it's you doing it. It's not them doing it anymore. It's your own experience right there. But that's what's bringing all these people to these speaker platforms. Learn from the best, see what steps you can take for your own game plan, and then apply it. You're going to get there, right?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Man, I appreciate this. It's been a good time.
It's a blast, Chris. I love having you on. And for people listening, it's not going to be the last time. But I'm telling you, go look at the other messages Chris and I have done before. Because, these deep topics are helping everyone in so many different areas of life, like this one did for viewers and listeners right now. But Chris, let's close this out right now. Tell them, one, where can they find, you said Eventbrite. Tell them where they can find it on Eventbrite. Where do they search in? Where can they find you in Bloodflow Coaching? And where can they just get more information for that matter?
Oh, that's perfect. I appreciate it, man. My website is www.bloodflowcoaching.com. And the best way to find the event is on any of our social media. Bloodflow Coaching has a Facebook account, has a LinkedIn account, has an Instagram account. And I know on Facebook and LinkedIn, we're posting consistently about the event, and it will have a click to put on. By the way, if he puts this up on Sunday, like he's talking about, and if there are seats left, if you go on LinkedIn or Facebook, there's a code in one of my posts that you can get $20 off. If there's any cheaper seats available. So save your seat. There's limited seating for it. Since it's a virtual event, it's very easy. Wear your pajamas, drink your coffee. I'll have my coffee ready to go. And we're going to have a great time together. So Bloodflow Coaching, follow us, filling in the gaps. If you're interested in that idea, since we're in beta testing, get with Billy, get with myself. We'd love to give you more information. Billy, it's an honor every time, my friend. Thank you very much.
I love it. I appreciate that, Chris, and I love having you on. Guys, go check out all those links. You're going to find all those links in the YouTube description below this video. You're going to find it as we post on social media. You're going to see it everywhere. So you don't have any other option than click on all these links and find more from Chris, find more from Bloodflow Coaching. And December 2nd is coming at you, but keep your eyes open because there's more coming down the pipeline in January, March, as he said. But Chris, I thank you for being here. Listeners, right now, go check all this out. And as we always say, please like this message on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up on below this video, because the more that goes up, beautiful thing, the algorithm takes it and sends it to more people. And, which means there's more people, not for Chris, not for myself, not to promote us, but the goal of this channel, to help people. Please like this message and share it to them. If at any point when going over Sensus Plenior, someone popped in your mind that can learn from this, as I always tell you, there's a clear-cut sign that that person needs this just as much. Share it directly to them and help someone else out. Reach a hand out and give it to someone else. And please subscribe to Once a Week if you haven't already. And guys, he already told you about Bloodflow Coaching. I'm telling you, if you're in need of a coach, Chris brings so much to the table. If you're in need of a coach, as I bring to people if you've heard on the channel before, go to BillyGLifeCoaching.com and you can set up a free call with me. I'll be right there for you because I want to be right there for you. But all that being said, guys, please subscribe and share this video to someone who needs it. And keep your eyes open for all these events Chris is doing. Chris, I thank you for being here. It's always a blast.
Can't wait to the next one already, my friend.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys.
I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it back there. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Google signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock.